Second-year Pepperdine forward Maxwell Lewis has gotten off to an incredible start to this season, as he has continued to showcase his incredibly refined skill set for a 19-year-old. Standing at 6'7" with a 6'10" wingspan, Max Lewis is an incredibly fluid player who blends this fluidity, feel, and handle together in his elite scoring package. Lewis's self-creation ability is very effective and apparent when watching him play, as he can attack any defender and get a shot over them whenever he chooses to. Here he has a one-on-one possession versus Jaime Jaquez Jr., rips left and uses a punch dribble into a double cross. He transfers his energy very well off this move, as he stops on a dime effortlessly to rise up for an easy look over him. Lewis can generate an insane amount of separation with his handle and movement, as you'll see here. He uses a jab step into a step back, which completely burns his defender, and he has no shot at closing out here. In transition here, Lewis essentially floats into a punch dribble, where he stops his momentum effortlessly and generates a great amount of separation to rise up for a solid look, although it doesn't fall. This self-creation and separation that Lewis can generate already looks insanely refined for a 19-year-old, as these moves look like something a pro would be executing. I'm very confident he will be able to generate good looks from day one in the league. Lewis is wildly effective in post-up opportunities, where he attacks guards and forwards down low and seems to always have an advantage against them. Only 14% of Lewis's play types have been post-ups, but he is scoring 1.38 points per possession on these opportunities, putting him in the 98th percentile in efficiency. His blend of footwork, touch, and functional strength are apparent when leveraging these post opportunities. This look right here is so advanced, as he attacks a slightly smaller U San Diego forward, Josh Parrish, backs him down, dribbles twice, then bumps him to create separation as he falls back into a 1-foot post fade that he cans. Lewis knows his spots very well and is constantly cutting into space, getting himself to advantageous positions, and finding the right place to be to get a bucket. This year, Lewis's three-point shot has taken a huge leap, in both efficiency and actual ability when watching him. Although I expect the actual number of makes to go down at some point, there has definitely been a leap in shooting ability as his jumper looks a bit smoother, especially on his catch and shoot attempts. Last year, Lewis shot 36.7% from 3 on 4.3 attempts per game, but this year he is shooting a staggering 50% from 3 on 4.7 attempts per game. Last year his catch and shoot looks were not great, as he wasn't hitting many, and the actual shot looked a lot less comfortable than his dribble jumpers. He is still taking more dribble jumpers than catch and shoot ones this year, but is more effective on these catch and shoot looks now. This year, 42.9% of his shots are catch and shoot looks, putting him in the 10th percentile in frequency. He is scoring 1.81 points per possession on catch and shoot looks, putting him all the way in the 99th percentile in efficiency. On his dribble jumpers, his volume and efficiency is mind-boggling. 55.1% of his shots this year are dribble jumpers, putting him in the 71st percentile in frequency. He is scoring 1.26 points per possession on dribble jumpers, which ranks in the 92nd percentile in efficiency. This is all per Synergy Sports. He has cut down on some less optimal looks and is taking ones where he is in better spots and is overall just more selective with his catch and shoot looks. His shot diet has improved this year and everything just looks a bit better. As for Lewis's attempts at the rim, he doesn't go to the rim a ton, but in looks at the rim he has been very effective. 34.9% of his looks are at the rim, putting him in the 23rd percentile in frequency. He is scoring 1.7 points per possession at the rim, putting him in the 98th percentile in efficiency. He's very good in the open floor and is pretty solid at attacking closeouts and getting looks at the rim when he wants to. I think the attempts at the rim could go up, as sometimes he opts for harder looks than are necessary from the perimeter, rather than attacking advantages he can/does create for himself. Instead of driving to that in-between area or to the rim here, as he beats his defender, he opts for a harder look by not attacking the advantage he created, and just takes a step-back jumper that allows for his guy to have a chance to get back in the possession. He could also have attacked his defender's front foot here, which would cause him to have to turn 90 degrees to get back in the possession, but instead of doing that, he just takes a contested look from 3. What's crazy about all of this is that the occasional lack of attacking advantages is really the only major weakness when it comes to his scoring package. Although Lewis's assist numbers won't jump out at you, his feel for the game and passing ability are apparent when delving into the film. You can tell that Lewis has a great understanding of where his guys are on the court and what specific coverages opposing defenses are running. His placement of passes are continually impressive, as he finds guys in these small little windows and is able to hit people in stride, right to where they're going to be, not to where they are. In transition, he places this pass here perfectly for Mike Mitchell Jr., but he unfortunately botches the layup. He's able to anticipate doubles and openings in the defense before they happen and hit his guys quickly in positions that are effective for them. Here he receives an exit screen from Kendall Munson, and before these two defenders even begin to collapse on him, he begins to sling this sweet pocket pass to Munson as he recognizes the opening before it's even there. This is one of my favorite possessions from Lewis that encapsulates a lot of these points of discussion. Lewis comes off of a down screen right into a handoff. He passes the ball, then receives an up screen so he can get a post touch. He backs down his defender, spins, then as he is going up, realizes that his teammate's defender has stepped away from him and passes the ball over two defenders perfectly into his teammate's hands. That awareness and tight window passing is very advanced and is an incredible sign for what is to come. This type of anticipation happens routinely, especially in the pick and roll as teams hedge and bring two to the ball. He reads these coverages quickly and always knows where his guys are going to be. This type of anticipation is also apparent when it comes to his improving defensive ability. Lewis is always aware of his responsibilities on defense, and his court mapping and understanding of actions away from his man are very apparent. Here, Lewis follows his man as he cuts to the basket and stays over towards the middle of the floor as he knows he needs to be the one to tag the roller as Pepperdine jumps two at the ball. As he neutralizes the big's roll to the basket, the ball gets skipped over to his initial man as he quickly rotates and contests and blocks his three-point look. This anticipation and level of defensive smarts is Lewis's best skill on this end, and a great sign for development as you can tell he studies his opponents and is always thinking and is always aware of his assignments. He is constantly engaged on defense and rarely has a lapse like letting his man cut behind him or completely losing out on a rotation. The biggest issue with Lewis's defense is that sometimes he is just a step slow when defending ball handlers. In a one-on-one here against Rivaldo Soares, Lewis is just a step slow when defending his drive and doesn't turn his hips or slide quick enough to stop his drive. This happens again against Oregon as he closes out too far on Will Richardson and can't get back in the possession quick enough to stop an easy pass to the corner which results in 3 points. The good news about this is that this weakness has improved lots from last year, as in the beginning of last year's season, Lewis was getting blown by on a lot of possessions, but the frequency of this has gone down and he has been able to keep his man in front of him more consistently. Lewis has also had an issue fighting over ball screens and neutralizing the opportunities gained by poor pick and roll defense, but this issue is helped by his great recovery tools. He'll get hit by a screen sometimes and will work to get back in the play using his length to generate blocks and good contests, which is a good thing. You would rather see that than someone get stonewalled by a screen and just not try getting back in the play. There are definitely some defensive things you would like to see improve, but the blend of defensive awareness and feel, coupled with his improving use of athleticism on defense, are reasons for optimism that Lewis can be a pretty great on-ball defender, as well as a great defensive communicator and off-ball defender. Max Lewis has an incredibly effective and enticing skill set that any NBA team will be lucky to have.